What is going on, my friends? Today I got a 6-7 do-it-all build in 2K26. I really wish I could put this build at point guard, but in order to do the things that I really want to do on this build, we're gonna have to settle at small forward. Now, a few days ago I posted on my channel, what build do you guys want to see next? And you guys voted for do-it-all build. So I'm gonna post a couple do-it-all builds that I'm thinking about making, and then we can kind of just do a vote and a tally to see, you know, do I make a 6-7, a 6-8, or a 6-9, maybe a 6-10? Those are the 3 or 4 heights that I feel like are definitely the best do-it-all builds. I feel like I'm on the hunt for what is the best random rec build in 2K26. What's the best build type, height, wingspan, and everything. So let me know in the comments below what you're having a lot of success using in the random rec. I'm really enjoying my 6'11", and just kind of got me wondering, you know, is 6'11" really the best height that you can be for a random rec? I'm not sure. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I'm really excited to see kind of where this goes. So today, I'm showing you a Luca-like build. I'm showing you a fat, pudgy, 6'7", point guard-like build. Now, like I said, I wish I could make this build at point guard, but in order to get the rebounding that I really want on this build, you know, I have to be a little heavier. I have to be on the fatter side of things. So in order for that to happen, I'm going to have 85 speed, 82 agility, 82 strength. I'm going to have a 70 vertical. Now, it is inspired by Luca. It's not necessarily a Luca build. Like, I'm not someone that makes NBA player builds, but you know, I do think that this is a comparison to Luca. When I think of do-it-all players, I think of Luca, LeBron, KD, Jokic, you know, triple-double machines. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did with this build. Now, I wanted to get to an 80D board on this build. 80D board is the threshold for rebound chaser on silver. I really do feel like in order to have a great do-it-all build, you at least have to have an 80D board. It's really hard for me to get a build that has anything above this. You know, as a smaller build, I don't want 85 rebound, and then I just get box out beast on gold. You know, I don't know how important that really is, in my opinion. So going for the rebound chaser silver, I like this on my 6'11 build. Now I'm going to be 4 inches shorter in both the height and the wingspan, but you know, I need all the help I can get when it comes to rebounding. You know, you could settle for what is it, 60? It's just, there's a reason why it's 60 at bronze and 80 at silver. That's a massive threshold in my opinion, and so I really want to be able to get that and get as many D boards as I possibly can. Just the other day I posted rec gameplay with my 6'9", was put at power forward. I only have like a 75 D board on that build, and I got like 6 defensive rebounds pretty easily. So I think having just this threshold of 80, you know, I can max +1 it, max +2 it to gold or Hall of Fame, and I can have games where I get 10 boards. I really think I can with this build. Let's get the defense out of the way. The defense on this build is nothing special. Because I am a little bigger, I can afford to only have a 74 perimeter. 57 interior is going to stay there. We're only going to have a 60 steal, and we're only going to have a 68 block. Now, this build is not highlighted by defense. I am bigger. Movable enforcer is a tier 2 badge, so I will be having a movable enforcer on either gold or Hall of Fame, I think. Just because I know that my perimeter defense is not very good. I want to get as many bump animations as possible. So I will be playing around with the immovable enforcer. And if I do decide to use that on Hall of Fame, I mean, I think that this defense is plenty, especially in random rec. As long as I can keep my guy in front of me for the most part, I think I will be doing just fine. And then obviously the bare minimum for steal and block. High flying denier on bronze. Just want to be able to get some blocks, and steal. Want to be able to get some lane steals. But for the most part, you know, I'm just going to be a very disciplined defender and not try to gamble too much. Pass ac, I'm going to have an 87. I really would like to use cap breakers on this and get up to a 91. I think this might be the category here where I'm going to maybe have to get glitchy with my cap breakers. You guys will have to let me know in the comments below. I have a way of doing my cap breakers just because, you know, of my build specialization. I always do shooting right now. I'm really close to getting my next cap breaker, my next +1, my max +1 badge perk here soon. But I'm gonna have an 87 pass, 85 ball handle, and a 75 speed with ball. I really was messing around with this a lot. The good thing about being 6'8 or 6'7 do-it-all build, you're gonna get 85 ball handle. That gets you access to some of the better animations in the game, like Devin Booker aggressive breakdown move and the Devin Booker step back. Those are some moves right there that I really like and I really value, which is why I'm leaning more towards a 6'7", 6'8" do it all build, excuse me, as opposed to a 6'9", 6'10", just in regards to the dribbling side of things. Now, the taller I am, I can probably have shorter wingspan, not be nearly as chubby and still get an 80 board, but this is what it feels right to me. I'm not gonna lie. This is what I think is worth having. 87 pass. I'm not sure what pass style I would use, but I do have bailout bronze and I have gold, everything else, break starter, dimer, versatile visionary. The only reason why I would go up to 91 pass is so I can get the Tyrese Halliburton pass style. I only gained bailout silver from 87 to 91. And then after that, you know, I don't get versatile visionary until 95. So 87 feels pretty good considering what I'm trying to accomplish with this build, which I'll get into in a moment. And then obviously 75 speed with ball. Playing around with this comes down to my immovable. I'm fine having lightning launch +1, max +1 to gold. I don't think there's a huge difference between Hall of Fame and gold this year. So if I had to put a +1 on that, and I'm really happy with the +2 on immovable to get that to Hall of Fame, I would love that. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be worth my while. Going into my shooting, this is why I made this Luca-like build at 6'7", because I really want as much shooting as possible. So I would go up to a 93 midi and put 5 cap breakers on this to get to a 98. And then I would also have an 87 3-pointer and use cap breakers there to get deep bombers now at a 90 rated. So at 98 midi, I'm gonna have, you can't see it, but 98 midi, I would have set shot specialist on legend. So now when I put my max +1, max plus whatevers, I could decide between, do I want to put limitless up to Hall of Fame with a +2, and then I just +1 either Deadeye or Shifty, or do I just leave limitless on silver and then even use a +2, +1 to get Shifty and Deadeye on legendary? You know, a lot of decisions to be made there. I'll put this back down to where it is, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking about at the moment. At the moment, I would probably do Shifty on legend and then +2 limitless to Hall of Fame. That sounds most reasonable to me, but again, that's something that I would have to play around with at some point. And then last but not least, I am going to have some finishing on this build. This would be the build where I would mess around with the layup side of things in 2K. Haven't really had the opportunity to see what that's like this year, and so I really want to see where am I at right now. I think we got 84 here. Yeah, I really want to mess around with layup. I've seen a lot of good things with layup. This is something that I would cap breaker eventually, especially once I get, you know, a 98 here. Maybe I don't go up to a 90 right away here and get up to a 90 here. At 90 layup on this, I would have float game gold, physical finisher on gold. Physical finisher is a tier 1, so I wouldn't be touching that. But layup mixmaster, that is a tier 2. Float game, that is a tier 2. So I feel like with this build, I'm really utilizing both my tier 1 and tier 2 badges. It's a little bit more standard on this build, you know. The taller I get, you know, some of these badges over here, like challenger, pick dodger, on ball menace, those become tier 2 at what am I trying to say? Those become tier 2 at 6'9" is what it is. But lightning launch, I actually forgot. Lightning launch is a tier 1 badge on this build. So I would probably have to +1 this, which is fine with me. And then over here, that just gives me more flexibility to maybe +2 layup mixmaster, maybe float game I mess around with, especially once I get that up to gold. You know, that's going to be legend. Layup mixmaster, once I get to a 93 layup, I can, you know, +2 that to legend. So and then, you know, immovable, I would definitely +1 or +2. So looking at it right now, you know, I would +1 lightning launch, +2 probably some of my shooting attributes or badges, excuse me. I really like the way that this build looks. Handles for days. I would have to figure out the +1. I would have to figure out the tier 1s. I'm sorry that I didn't have this figured out before I made this video, but I'd have to mess around with all this. I'd probably have to +1 my lightning launch. and probably +2 my handles for days just so I can dribble a little bit. Maybe +1. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But I know for sure that lightning launch, handles for days, and then one of my shooting badges, I would definitely have to max 1 and 2. But nonetheless, you know, when it comes to my layups, you know, that's what I would be very excited with the +1s and 2s for tier 2. So sorry for kind of being all over the place here, but I do believe that this would be, you know, my Luca-like build. Speedy offensive engine. I'm not sure if speedy is the right word for Luca. He's a little slow and methodical and kind of slows down the game, plays at his own pace. I'm not sure if that's speedy, but nonetheless, I do think that this is a very, very solid build. I do feel like that I'm just going to be on the hunt for the best do-it-all build in 2K.
Okay.
Let me let this guy yap for a little bit.
I need you to be honest.
But just finding that do-it-all build that makes it worth playing random rec. I'll let him finish what he's saying here. Blah, 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 blah. You know, finding that do-it-all build in 2K, I feel like that's kind of my next step with the channel. I really just want to find a great do-it-all build in random rec and just kind of figure out what build and what works and what doesn't work in the random rec. I think you got to have a build that can finish, that can shoot, that can dribble and create for himself, that can defend at a decent level. I don't think defending is nearly as important as you think in random rec, but rebounding, you got to be able to rebound a little bit, just so that there's no way, you know, no matter what randoms you get matched up with, it is impossible to take you out of the game. That's really what I'm trying to do here. But as you can see, we could use 3 cap breakers for my layup. I would obviously use 5 to get my midi up to a 98, eventually get 3 here. So, you know, by the time that this next season comes out, I'm probably going to buy the pass, honestly. And then I can get a 90 layup right away. That's 3 here. That's, what, 6? And then 5 here. That's 11. So that's exactly what I have cap breakers wise by the time I get to level 40 for this next season. So let me know what you think about this build in the comments below. 6-7, I think, is definitely a harder build to do it all with. But, you know, this is my best attempt at it. So let me know what you think about this build in the comments below. Again, I posted a poll on the channel asking which height you guys want me to make next for this do-it-all build. You know, this is my 6-7 version of it. So vote on that on the channel. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.